What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another discussion video to talk about with you guys, this time actually revolving around the New York Knicks and whether or not they're still actually interested in Dennis Schroder. For those of you who didn't actually see, there was a report going around. I'd say it kind of happened, yeah, it was pretty big at the start of the year and kind of faded away. I mean, this did happen and it was an ongoing conversation. It actually happened at around early February, being reported that the Knicks are in the market for a point guard and reportedly hold a Thunder guard Dennis Schroder in high regards, per Stefan Bondi. So again, this is actually extremely interesting because for those of you who don't know, it seems to be that the New York Knicks are kind of interested in some other point guards now, even though this was only a couple months old, and you still would think that the New York Knicks would be kind of interested in Dennis Schroder. At this point, I kind of think it would be more of a plan B, kind of plan C situation, because I think plan A, I've talked about it in a couple of videos, but what I think the New York Knicks are going to try and do is they're probably going to try and trade for Chris Paul, and then Chris Paul will play point guard, and then they're obviously going to try and draft Melo Ball. So what will happen is Melo Ball will guard the shooting guard position, while Chris Paul will be guarding the point guard position. But then what will happen is when it comes to offense, then Melo Ball would actually bring the ball up and mainly be the one that does, carry it and playmakes and all of that type of stuff. While then Chris Paul would then go on to be kind of that off-ball point guard, similar to a role which he played at the Houston Rockets, then obviously a little bit at the Oklahoma City Thunder, aka OKC, when, potentially Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Dennis Schroder would actually have the ball and then would continue to try and isolate. Now, again, I think this is extremely interesting to see whether or not they would still be interested in him. Honestly, I do think they are interested in him, but definitely there are a lot of point guards I think they're going to want before him. For example, Cole Anthony, Chris Paul, and I believe, LaMelo Ball are all going to be on their list before he actually gets on there as well. And they have a pretty good reason for that. Dennis Schroder is definitely a very isolation-heavy type of point guard. He likes to isolate the ball. He's not a great playmaker. Not saying he's not bad, but he's not that great either. He's kind of in the middle of just okay/decent. And what he likes to really do is, isolate the ball. Now, the reason this doesn't necessarily work when it's, he starts, is because when he actually starts, obviously, one thing that you want from your starters is you want your best players on the court. Usually your best players that are not point guards feed from great assists. Let's look at it like this. LeBron James obviously feeds Danny Green and Anthony Davis with really good high-profile, assists, while if a player like Dennis Schroder was the starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers instead of LeBron James, and, maybe LeBron James had Dennis Schroder's playmaking or whatever, then Danny Green's points would definitely go down. His efficiency and efforts throughout the game would definitely go down. Anthony Davis would probably be averaging less points with, without the playmaking and all of that type of stuff. So, and then that's why you want your, players like Dennis Schroder to come off the bench. So that players like, maybe some other players who are role players that aren't exactly great scorers from, playmaking. For example, who knows, maybe players like Larry Nance, who are just good rebounders and decent defenders here and there that just play their role. Don't necessarily always need heaps of playmaking here and there. Some players like that to partner along with Dennis Schroder off the bench. That's why he works so well with OKC. You just got players like Ferguson and stuff coming off the bench who are just defenders. They're not good shooters. They don't need playmaking. That's why he works so well with, those type of players. But judging from this, if the New York Knicks were extremely interested in Dennis Schroder, this would most likely be to start him. I just don't think Dennis Schroder is the greatest starting point guard you could possibly have on a team, and I definitely think they should be looking at, LaMelo Ball and Chris Paul. I think that would be very much interesting is if they actually traded for both Chris Paul and Dennis Schroder and got LaMelo Ball, and this could possibly work. For example, you see that what the Oklahoma City Thunder do is they actually play Chris Paul at point guard, and then we'll play Dennis Schroder at shooting guard, and then we'll actually roll out, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at small forward. We've seen them play this type of, mainly how they played all season. Once, potentially their starting small forward goes on the bench, And this has really worked. They've done really well with it. Now, I'm not saying it would work with LaMelo Ball, because obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a way better defender at the small forward position than what LaMelo Ball is. But again, if you just want to have that small ball type of lineup, maybe the Knicks may be interested in a small ball type of lineup. Like, that would literally be lethal. Let's imagine this on the court at, for a couple of seconds here. If they rolled out a small ball lineup of, Chris Paul, Dennis Schroder, LaMelo Ball, maybe Julius Randle and Mitch Robinson, that would be lethal. What does that team not have? Mitch Robinson's a great defender at center. Julius Randle's a decent defender at power forward. Chris Paul's a good defender at point guard. Dennis Schroeder's a decent defender at shooting guard. The only bad thing would be LaMelo Ball at, small forward. But of course, you could try and work around that. And that's why I think that would be a very interesting situation that, who knows, maybe we might even see one day. But of course, I think they'll definitely look to just try and, keep, we'll try and get Chris Paul and LaMelo Ball. I don't honestly think they are going to be trying to get Dennis Schroder. But of course, who really knows with the New York Knicks at this point? They may fail to get LaMelo Ball, and they might just say, well, whatever, let's just get Chris Paul and Dennis Schroder for a couple first round picks or something like that. I think that would be extremely interesting, and maybe could even be it probably would actually be their plan B if they failed to partner up LaMelo and Chris Paul together, or maybe just draft LaMelo Ball. But again, that would be extremely interesting. I really don't know what the New York Knicks are going to do at this point. It seems like they're interested in a new player every single week, and of course players like Dennis Schroder, who they were interested in a couple months ago, get brought back and get talked about by, some random people that was like, hey, remember this, like me, just a guy on YouTube just reporting that, oh, remember this. The New York Knicks were interested in Dennis Schroder. Well, are they still interested in Dennis Schroder? And yes, to answer that question, I believe they are still interested in Dennis Schroder, but right now he's probably a plan B / plan C type of situation. But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA content and NBA news. Don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on this? Do you guys think it would be a good idea by the New York Knicks to potentially get Dennis Schroder? Or do you just think they should get Chris Paul and LaMelo Ball? Or do you guys think they should try and get all three? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on it all down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlog channel. Links for them will all be in the description down below. And definitely go check out my podcast if you haven't already. Links for that will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.